stuff up on stage. There we go. Mr. Producer is drinking some apple juice. So, hello. Welcome, everybody. Appreciate you all being here. Happy Friday to you. That's the first Friday of the year. The first Friday of the year. You know, that's pretty cool. Yeah, happy 2026. I'm doing well. Hopefully you're doing well. Yeah, guys, I tell you what, it has just been a crazy, crazy year. Sorry, I had to do it. I had to do it. I know it's nerdy, but I had to do it. But before we get into the presentation, Mr. Producer, roll that footage.
Fans of Bishop James Long, the renowned exorcist and paranormal expert on KGRA digital broadcasting. Now you can carry his wisdom with you. Our Bishop James Long collection features blessed apparel such as St. Benedict hats and tees, as well as home items to protect and inspire. Elevate your spiritual journey. Go to kgradb.com/shop and discover the Bishop James Long merch today.
Okay, so anyway, make sure you head on over there, folks, and visit the site, and that would be wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. We would appreciate that, and so would the MKS Kids Foundation. Again, we are partnering with the orphanage there, and they are doing. I tell you what, we are doing amazing work with them, and it's a great opportunity to be a part of their community too. Now, if you want to go to my site, you can certainly do so. And that's Bishop James Long, and you follow that up with a .com. By the way, if you click on the books link, I now have a brand new book that has been published. It is the 7 Parables, as well as the Paranormal Investigating Training Manual. Those 2 books are published, ready to go. There's other books too. If you click on the books link, you can get those. By the way, 100% of the profits. This is my work. So when you're an author and you write a book, you should expect to be able to receive dividends. Every author does it. No matter who you are, everybody does it. But we as a community, we are donating 100% of the profits that would go to these books to the MKS Kids Foundation. So trolls, I beat you there again. 100% of the profits is going to the MKS Kids Foundation, or again, the orphanage that we're partnering with. There are 2 books right now that are in the editing process, and those are the book on demonology, and also it is the Revelation book. So there we go. And anybody who makes a comment like that, actually, let me report you to the FBI. There we go. Okay. All right. Yeah, I'm the same person that was just blocked. Also sent me a death threat on Messenger already, and I've gotten 7 death threats. I just went on air at 7:00, and I have seven death threats right now on Messenger. Okay, let me make this very clear. You don't intimidate me. If you think for 5 seconds that you're going to intimidate this guy, I dare you stand toe to toe. I will take this collar off and I will give you a Kentucky backyard ass kicking Louisville style so quickly. You don't intimidate me. You don't scare me. And if you think you do, then come at me. As I was saying, the church's site, more importantly, just go to USOCC, follow it up with a .org, and head on over yonder, and that will be great as well. So yeah, I'm not intimidated by the death threats. I'm not intimidated. This is not the first time that I've got death threats, and won't be the last. But what those idiots don't realize that those who are doing this, actually, that is against the law, and that is considered cyber stalking, and that's a federal crime. So, and people who, oh, you shouldn't be cussing. You're not my mom. You're not my dad. Shut your mouth and go away. Easy. Simple. You sit in this chair and get death threats and say, yeah, tell me how you really feel. Anyway. Yeah, we don't, I'm not intimidated. Not intimidated. So, yeah, it's like, yeah, that's the thing, folks. There's a lot of you folks, a lot of us are being harassed and bullied online. Well, let me just make this very clear. You can't be intimidated by these bullies. You can't, because they would never do it to your face. But I did make a song. I really don't care if you think I'm a legitimate priest or not. Don't care. And speak to your therapist. I'm not in session. There we go. Thank you, Debbie. This is the troll song that I wrote. It's called TikTok Trolls. Imagine that. Here we go. That's a true story. Sit in your chair, trolls. Yeah. There we go. That's a Happy Friday song, isn't it? That's a Happy Friday song. That's a great song. Yeah. You get nothing to do. Nothing to do. I mean, really, if you think about it, dude, it's Friday night. What are you doing? You're trolling clergy on a Friday night. Come on. Go play him on the expressway. I mean, you know. All right. So there we go. This is the TikTok Trolls. That's the TikTok Trolls. You can get the song. I wrote it. By the way, it's copyrighted. So if you use it, I just obviously say, hey, look, Bishop Long wrote it. You can go to my site. You can go to my site there, Bishop James Long. Follow that up with the .com. And before the troll saying, I knew you were doing this for money. That's how they talk. That's how trolls talk. It's free. Oh, Robert, you can't be a normal human being. That's why you got muted. Pity. So anyway, it's there. You can go to Bishop James Long, follow that up with the .com, scroll down, and you'll see the music there. So there we go. Yeah, the part irritates the demons. The song. It does. Now that's the thing, folks. You cannot be intimidated by these people. You cannot, nor should you. You should not be intimidated by them. They offer nothing. They spew venom, and you must stand toe to toe. And I think it's important for you to see clergy to say, look, I'm not your punching bag. You're not going to sit here and insult me and expect me to smile and say, continue to insult me. That's not going to happen. Thank you very much. So you have to set boundaries. And when people don't understand those boundaries, well, thank you. Then you show them the door. And you say, be blessed and be blocked. There we go. Okay. Oh, and your ring. Yes, this ring is $1 million. You can buy it. It's $1 million. Are you jelly? Are you jelly? You jelly that I got $1 million ring? They're jelly because I got $1 million ring, Mr. Producer. For those of you who follow me, you know, in fact, where the ring came from. For those of you who don't, well, there you go. Yeah, actually, you can get it. You can get it on Etsy, and it's like $64. So it's a beautiful ring. Yeah, it's a beautiful ring. Well, Melissa, I get it, but in 3 minutes, I got 7 death threats, so I address it. Because I'm not going to be intimidated. So anyway, well, the Melissa, go away. I don't need you to sit here and tell me how to run my show. I'm not watching you. You're watching me. So I will address my show, the presentation, how I want to. I don't need you to sit here and tell me and lecture me about how I run the show. Just go away. Anyway, a very good friend of mine, I want to thank you very much. These are the watches that she sent me. I got them. I got the links taken care of. You know who you are. Thank you very, very much for this. These are absolutely beautiful. This, of course, you can see it's a thin blue line. Yes, I support the police. In fact, I do. And so I sincerely thank her very much. That was beautiful. So thank you. And if you want to tell people who you are, you can. Otherwise, we will keep it quiet. So Okay. So this is the situation, everybody. We are having a Paranormal Friday show. That's what we're doing. Paranormal Friday show. And that's how we run Friday nights. No, there's a lot of comments here. I tell you what. Man, it's active tonight. It's Mr. Producer. Is it a full moon tonight? I think it is. I think Mr. Producer is definitely a full moon. Yeah, must be. All right. Tonight, we're going to talk about a very cool topic. And that, of course, is the haunting, or is it haunted, Denver Airport and International Airport. I tell you what, the Houston Intercontinental, actually, those are fascinating topics. I've always thought about doing those, but I thought, well, I don't know if people would be interested. But there are so many people talk about the Denver, especially the Denver International Airport. A lot of people talk about this. So let's get into it. All right. First, before we get into our Houston, or for the Denver, I want to talk about Houston. Annapolis, yeah. Okay. For those of you who don't know, I do not entertain questions for the presentation. After the presentation is over, then you have some questions. We'll be more than happy to entertain them. And you're confused because you're Catholic and you're confused. What are you confused about? Because a priest talks about the paranormal. Well, there's a priest in Rome that has a techno music in which the Pope gave a blessing. Priests have different lives. All right. The Houston International Airport. Let's get into it. Yeah, it's pretty cool, isn't it? So tonight we're going to step into a place that few dare to speak of after dark. The Houston Intercontinental, or George Bush Intercontinental Airport. It's a hub of travel, commerce. Some people say there's something far darker that's going on. And moderators, I know that we have a lot of people on TikTok. Again, put it in bold capitals. If you want me to put sub chat on, just let me know. Okay? So they say that the airport isn't just a transit point for millions. They whisper about the shadows that's lurking beneath the surface. Hidden tunnels, spirits trapped in endless loops of their last moments. And that's a place of arrivals, departures, but also secrets. Secrets buried that's deep beneath the runway. In forgotten tunnels, in the restless minds of those who maybe have seen allegedly too much. So we're going to go through the dark history first of Houston. The ghost stories, conspiracy theories that suggest that Houston Intercontinental is haunted. It's a gateway to things beyond our understanding, allegedly. So let's get into the history. Long before the first flight took off in the runway, the land was a different kind of battleground. So decades ago, beneath the bright lights and bustling terminals, the ground held secrets. Underground tunnels, long forgotten, connect hidden chambers where allegedly experiments were conducted. Experiments that blurred the lines between science and supernatural. Some say that the Cold War, the government built secret underground facilities underneath the airport. Chambers where biological agents were tested, mind control experiments were attempted, and they whisper of a clandestine project called Project Shadow, which you guys can take a look at that. Project Shadow. Bear with me. Sub chat's on. Okay, so if you would like to chat, subscribers, you may chat. Tros, if you don't like it, speak to your therapist. Now, they say that the earth beneath the Houston International is imbued with strange electromagnetic energies, enough to warp perceptions or open portals. Very welcome, Donna. So, and these tunnels, some say they still exist, hidden, silent, waiting for someone brave or foolish enough to find them. Some claim that on foggy nights, strange lights flicker beneath the runway, not from planes, but from what's hiding in the darkness. I have a friend of mine that works at the George Bush Intercontinental Airport, And they are absolutely convinced that at night there are paranormal activity. They absolutely swear by it. So people who work there tell stories that for some would make the hair on your neck stand up. Stories of encounters with spirits that refuse to leave. And again, for those of you who are new here, I'm Bishop Long, and yes, this is our one show a week for 2 hours a week. That's it. Where we talk about the paranormal. One day, one show. Fridays. And one of the most chilling tales involve a young woman that's seen near Terminal C. So she appears during foggy mornings. Her face is streaked with tears, dressed in vintage clothing from the 1940s. She's been crying, calling out for someone allegedly, and her voice echoing softly through the empty halls. And when approached, allegedly she vanishes, leaving only the faint scent of like a perfume. Now, some believe she's the ghost of a flight attendant who actually passed away in a crash. Her spirit forever tethered to that place of her last flight. And then there are the apparitions of shadow figures that flicker in the corner of security feeds. I'm moving too quickly to identify, but leaving a sense of dread. Oh, thank you very much, Trish. Thank you. So Trish got the paranormal book today. It is available, by the way, if you go to my site, Bishop James Long, follow that up with a .com, click on the books link. And there is a brand new paranormal training manual for you. 100% of the profits goes to the orphanage, the MKS Kids Foundation. So people also hear footsteps behind them, only to turn and find no one. And they see fleeting shapes darting out of the corner of their eyes. Thank you. Dark silhouettes. Now, people ask me a lot about the shadow people. You know, look, I've had cases before where the shadow people, without question, was demonic. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. 100%, I'm absolutely convinced. Then there were cases, in fact, where the shadow people, they were not. So it was just paranormal activity, but I wouldn't say it was demonic. So are all shadow people demonic? No, at least not in my experience. They're just not. Now, when you look at the Houston Intercontinental Airport, some say that these ghosts are echoes of those who perished, trapped in limbo, if you would say. Spirits wandering, seeking closure, but forever denied. But when you're looking at these portals and aliens and hidden forces, what if these stories are just the surface? What if Houston Intercontinental is a nexus, a point where world overlaps? So in other words, there are whispers of secret government experiments, even alien contact, and yep, people swear there are portals that open in the darkness there. Some witnesses actually claim to have seen strange lights in the skies above the airport, orbs, glowing shapes that dart across the clouds. And security footage has captured bizarre anomalies, shadowy figures, slipping through walls, orbs floating in the night sky. Now, orbs, for the most part, on video, friends, orbs is either dust or it is usually are insects. Insects are quite often misinterpreted as, or orbs are misinterpreted as insects. Now, a lot of people swear, they see impossible shapes flickering in and out of existence. People whisper about underground chambers where alleged experiments to harness supernatural energies are ongoing. Now, some believe that the spirits' hauntings aren't just residual. They are the results of a failed experiment. Even creatures from other realms or aliens that's trapped between the worlds. People are legit. They really believe this. So my job is to present what people believe. It is your job to say, that's ridiculous, or, well, that might have some relevance to it. Now, there are certain parts of the airport that people claim are more haunted than others. Cursed spots where the veil is the thinnest, so to speak. So Terminal A, for example, is alleged haunted by a maintenance worker who passed away in a mysterious accident. So witnesses say that his spirit still haunts the corridors. He appears suddenly and then vanishes into thin air. And my friends of mine who work there at the airport, that's right. Yeah, Shirley. We had to put sub chat on because TikTok just couldn't be kind. So we had to put sub chat on. So welcome over here. Appreciate you being here. So shadows move on their own. Luggage carts rattle without cause. Sometimes a ghostly figure appears, standing silently, just watching. And the runway itself? Well, it is said that during the dead of night, ghostly figures wander the tarmac. And their figures are translucent, their faces obscured, as if waiting for someone. As a matter of fact, a buddy of mine said that at one time they saw what they thought was someone on the runway, and they had to send like a tug, or the security out there to make sure that no one was on the runway. But there was nothing there. Now, could it have been a bag that the wind, blew up and they looked sort of like a person? I guess it could be, but nonetheless, we just simply don't know. And we'll get to the Denver airport is a very interesting airport. But when I was doing some investigation, I said, well, are there any other airports that are perhaps haunted? Yeah. Houston. This place is really crazy. Some believe the government's experiments go far beyond what we see. So beneath the airport, as I mentioned, there are people that are convinced, without question, there are hidden laboratories that conduct research on the unseen, biological, electromagnetic, even spiritual. Personally, I have a little bit of a problem with it because I've not seen it. But there are people that are convinced of it. And they say that at certain times, electromagnetic disturbances, it ripples through the area, causing electronic devices to malfunction. And cameras glitching, radios crackling, lights flickering. Now, a friend of mine, again, he works on the ramp. Many, many years ago, I used to work for Continental Airlines. Loved it. But we were cross-utilized, which means that sometimes we'd be working on the ramp, and other times we'd be working on the gate and something of this nature. So, Zach, I'm sure there'd be a lot of activity there. And even CERN, not just saying even CERN. There is so much. We just simply don't know. Yep. Yeah, Continental Airlines. So there have been a couple of times where, our radio frequency was tuned in specifically for us. That was it, just for us. So there was no other, it wouldn't pick up on any other frequency. And so I was on the ramp, I was inside the belly of the plane, and on the back, they were loading things and we were loading things, but up in front, I wasn't up in front. In the belly of the plane, they were putting in someone who had passed away. And and that's how many times they do that. They put it in the belly of the plane in the front, and we have to seal it off. But I was in the back, and I had the radio with me, and we were throwing, the bags obviously in the back, doing our job. And I got very clear. It was a woman, and she said, "Hello." Now, first of all, at that time, there were no women thank you very much, that were working on the ramp with us. None. And we would not have any type of interference on those radios, because those radios, obviously, you got to make sure that they're secure for a variety of reasons. And we all heard it. We were right in the belly of the plane. It was. Thank you very much for the gift. And we heard it. It was hello. And as soon as they put the coffin in there, that was interesting. Thank you, Starla. Now, some people have heard, a friend of mine in Houston heard on their radio, "We're opening the door." And that was very peculiar because they had just closed it to clamp it, to lock it down, obviously to make sure that the baggage door doesn't fly open in the middle of the flight. So as soon as they slammed it and they locked it, they heard the click, they heard a noise on their radio, "We're opening the door." And that really startled them. So they had to double check, lock it, make sure, open it, shut it 3 or 4 times, because when you are flying at 500 miles per hour at 30,000 feet, You don't want those doors obviously opening up. That could be detrimental. Now, so for those of you joining, we're talking about the Houston, the George Bush the Intercontinental Airport now, and then in a moment we'll be talking about Denver. So these disturbances are believed to be attempts at opening portals, gateway to other dimensions. Now, some say that the spirits that they see in Houston are the remnants of those experiments alleged underneath the airport, entities caught between worlds. And so throughout the years, brave or even unfortunate witnesses have shared encounters that really are kind of chilling. One airline employee had actually went on a show that I had heard. He doesn't work there anymore. Told us seeing a woman in vintage clothing standing right in the middle of the runway, only to vanish as their headlights approached. And he said her face, he actually got close enough to where he saw her face, and he said it was sad, like she was waiting for someone who never came. Even a security guard reported hearing footsteps behind him, like fast and deliberate, like someone was chasing him. And pilots, some swear that they have seen these luminous orbs hovering near the runway that even pulsated with a ghostly glow and then dart away. So the question, are they stories? We don't know. Are they echoes from the realms beyond our comprehension? We don't know. Some actually believe that the Houston airport isn't just haunted, it's a nexus. So what I mean by that, it's a point where multiple dimensions converge. They absolutely believe this about the Denver. So the layout, the underground tunnels, the electromagnetic anomalies, they're all part of a perfect storm for paranormal activity. It's a place where the boundaries between our reality and the unseen are really paper thin. And let me ask you, what if the truth is even darker? See, some believe that the government knows exactly what's happening at the George Bush Intercontinental Airport. Some swear, again, this goes too far for me. I don't believe this, but I'm just presenting what people say and what they truly believe. Some believe that there are rituals performed in these tunnels, performed experiments, harnessed energies beyond our understanding. Could it be that the spirits haunting Houston International are prisoners of those experiments? We just simply don't know. But despite all the stories, many questions remain unanswered. Why do certain areas become inexplicably cold? Why do electronic devices malfunction during strange phenomena? And most haunting of all, are the spirits trying to warn us? Again, the friend that I was speaking to you about, who works at the airport in Houston, he was in the belly of the plane. Now, this was in the middle of summer. There's no air conditioning in the belly of the plane. It's hot. It is really, really warm. And so there was an urn that the family had placed in as luggage. And, it says urn, it says be careful, all this other. And as soon as he put it inside the plane and, make sure that it was completely secure, he said it was like someone had just turned the air conditioner on. And we're talking about in Houston in the summer. And again, there are no air conditioning units in the belly of the plane. And he said it was clear, and he felt it as soon as he got that. Now, what that is, we don't know. But it is interesting. So have any of you heard, before we get to Denver, have you ever heard of the George Bush Intercontinental Airport being haunted? I am curious to see what your thoughts are on that before we get into the Denver. Because quite a few people, when I reached out to some friends in the paranormal community, many of people have said, oh, they've heard it. Okay. Especially if you're living in, Starla says yes, okay. Especially if you're living there in Houston. And again, thanks to everybody. We appreciate you guys being here. I truly do. Thank you so much. For those of you on TikTok, welcome. I had to put sub chat on because people were just being very, very rude and nasty. And so I had to put sub chat on. But you can still watch the presentation. Appreciate everyone being here. I invite you, please don't forget to go to our sponsor site, KGRAD as in dog, B as in bicycle.com. And then, of course, you click on the shop link. And when you do that, click on my name. There's some great St. Michael products are there and some other products, 100%. Thank you very much, Monica. Thank you. 100% of the profits that would go to me, we're donating to the MKS Kids Foundation and Orphanage. And also, friends, please go to my site, Bishop James Long, Long, and you follow that up with a .com. Click on the books link. Now, there are 2 brand new books that are published. It is the 7 parables explained in the Bible, well, not the 7, the parables explained. We also have the 7 archangels. That's been published, so that's for you. And we also have the Paranormal Investigating Training Manual. So those 3 books are brand new, and they're published, and 100% of the profits is going to our friends, the MKS Kids Foundation. Okay? All right, now let's get into our Denver airport. Thank you there, Mr. Producer. Yeah, we got the 7 archangels and the clergy handbook of prayers. And so, yeah, we try to help them out. It's absolutely, Julia. Yeah, Willie Windwalker's book, it's a really fantastic book. By the way, everyone, please make sure you pray for Willie Windwalker and his wife, Shaman. Shaman has some pretty serious bed sores. Very serious, actually. And I'm concerned. I am concerned. I saw some pictures today that were very alarming. So his wife, Shaman, is, I think, I'm not a doctor, but the sores are pretty god-awful. Tomorrow, I am going to offer the anointing of the sick. It used to be known as last rites. But, you know, she's a fighter, and but Willie sent me a message and said, I really need you to be here tomorrow. So keep him and his wife, Shaman, in your thoughts and prayers. I cannot show the pictures of the wounds because they're just simply too graphic, and they're pretty terrible. So anyway, I'll be doing that tomorrow afternoon. All right. No, we're not on tomorrow. Saturday is our day off. Let's get into the Denver International Airport. What is up with all this talk about these weird designs? And there are some things in the Denver International Airport. The more you peel back the layers, the more you realize something is very odd. Something is very strange in that airport. Let's go into it. So we're going to go into this voyage where shadows that lurk beyond the shining surface of the Denver International Airport. I've been there. It's a beautiful airport. It's big. As a matter of fact, as soon as I got off the airport, the plane, and I got into the airport, I just smelled pine. The pine was just... Texas is saying there's Mary doesn't like the airport. Texas, Elizabeth gets very unsettling. Have you been? Yeah, there's a lot of Starlet says it's overwhelming. So there, amidst the bustling terminals, gleaming runways, lies secrets that are so dark, so unnerving, that they're almost too terrifying or difficult to believe. But believe me, tonight, we're going to peel back these layers of deception, and we're going to reveal the hidden truth. There are some logical explanations about some of the designs that a lot of people talk about. So first of all, let's start at the beginning. All right, the story of how Denver's, new international gateway was born. It really is. It's a story of ambition, money, and secrets that are buried beneath the surface. So picture this. We're in the late 1970s and early 80s. Denver was growing rapidly. The original Denver Municipal Airport that was known as Stapleton, it served the city since 1920s, but it was becoming way too small for the expanding population and increasing air traffic. So the city needed a new modern hub, something bigger, something more grand, something that would put Denver on the international map. Thank you very much. Thank you, Starla. My friends on TikTok are offering gifts, so I thank you. Thank you very much. So by the early 1980s, plans were underway. The new site was chosen, expansive, isolated piece of land northeast of the city, covering some about 33,000 acres. Did you realize how I had no idea? I knew that Denver was a large airport. It covers 33,000 acres. Oh, you remember it was built? It was a remote location, miles from the city center, perfect for sprawling and ambitious project. So construction began in 1989 amidst whispers of corruptions, delays, strange funding, but it was completed more or less by 1995 when the airport officially opened. But here's where things get really, really strange. So the airport was plagued from the start with real oddities. The design, the artwork, even the layout, it does seem to hint at something more than just a transportation hub, because many people believe that it was built with a hidden agenda, perhaps as a secret military installation, a bunker, a command center for global elites. Now, some of you would say, well, why would they do that? That doesn't even make sense. Well, there's a lot of people that speculate that the airport was planned as part of a globalist agenda, an underground fortress in case of a catastrophe, or even a base for the New World Order. And the strange symbols, thank you, and art embedded in its structure, well, when you look at some of the art, it kind of seems to confirm it. So as you walk through DIA, and I'm going to refer to Denver International Airport from now on as DIA. It's just a lot easier saying Denver International Airport. So as you walk through DIA, which is huge, you're met with more than just functional architecture that makes sense. You encounter murals, even sculptures that seem prophetic is the best word to use. One of the most iconic pieces is what is called Blucifer. Friends, that is what it's actually called. It is a massive, glowing blue Mustang with glowing red eyes. It stands 32 feet tall outside the main terminal. So, thank you. It is a striking sight. A lot of people even call it demonic. It is kind of odd, I will be honest. But here's the creepy part. The artist, Luis Jimenez, I believe, was actually unalived when a piece of the sculpture fell on him during construction. Some say Blucifer, thank you there, see David. Some say Blucifer is cursed, an omen of doom, because its glowing eyes are said to be watching everyone. The big brother kind of a mentality. Now, inside the terminal, which is really even more interesting, murals of Leo Tanguma depicts the apocalyptic scenes, wars, environmental destruction, calls for peace and unity. But many people actually interpret hidden messages, images of children that are suffering, or skulls surrounded by terrible things, destroyed cityscape. It's kind of weird. I mean, a lot of people, when you look at them, is it just art? Yeah, and see, and Monsar, I have to be real careful with the words that I use because of TikTok rules and regulation. So are they just art or warnings? When you look at the artwork, I will be honest, it is a little strange. Some theorists actually believe that these murals are secret passages, prophecies of catastrophe, even a blueprint for the future. And they're said to be designed to prepare or warn the elite, perhaps to influence the subconscious of travelers passing through. The argument is that should something occur, a terrible nuclear weapons or whatever it might be, that is the place for the elites to go to. So beneath the DIA, the Denver International Airport, lies a labyrinth of tunnels, long, winding, largely inaccessible to the public. Officially, these tunnels are used for baggage handling, maintenance, security, allegedly. But there are whispers that persist of a darker purpose, because I worked at Continental Airlines many years ago. Quite often, Continental flew to Denver, and I had a lot of friends who worked on the ground, on the ramp, and they absolutely are convinced that some of those tunnels are not right. So reports from workers and insiders describe strange sounds. That happened quite often. So I had friends that were working on the ground, and they would, take the tug. The tug is the little machine that, pushes all the carts to the terminal. So, baggage terminal, so you can get your cart, so you can get your bags. And when they are driving through, many times they will hear someone screaming or someone talking or even music, but there's no one should be down there. No one. So distant banging has been reported, unexplained radio signals, whispers. Some claim to have even seen shadow figures retreating into the darkness, which figures that vanish when approached. And the symbols are really odd. Yeah, we'll get to that, I promise you. Good question. So etched into the tunnel walls are very strange sigils, some resembling military insignia. Even occult symbols. I'm not a military expert, but when you look at some of these, you're like, that does look military. Some say that they're ritual markings. Yep, disembodied voices. And these ritual markings designed to invoke protection or control over the space. But here's the real kicker, as if that's not bad enough. Multiple sources have reported the existence of a secret underground bunker or bunkers, massive, heavily fortified chambers that are capable of sheltering hundreds, if not thousands of people. Some believe they are meant for government officials, the global elite, in case of a nuclear war or a global collapse. I could see something like this. I don't think that is too far-fetched. We know that there are government bunkers, military bunkers. We know this. We also know that there are military bunkers that have food, water, medicine. We know this, which I guess that would make sense. But the problem is you and I, unless you're a global elite, which I guess maybe some of you are, I don't know. The majority of people will never be able to see it. So why would such facilities be hidden beneath an airport? Well, because many say that the Denver International Airport isn't just an airport, it's a hidden command center, a fortress, doomsday bunker. And the underground tunnels could be part of a network of secret military base that's links to shadow government, hidden from public view. Yeah, it was in the 70s and early 80s. Now, I have spoken with a few individuals who even went underground, and their stories are chilling. So a buddy of mine many years ago, he's passed away since, he told me that, he said, I was told to check the underground tunnels late at night. And as I walked, because he wasn't working for the airline, he was security. So as he walked through, he saw a figure. It was a tall, shadowy, dressed in what he said looked like military fatigues. And he said it was staring right at him. And then when he blinked, it was gone. Like it just evaporated into the darkness. Another friend of mine who worked there said I was in one of the tunnels alone when I heard footsteps that echoed behind me, slow, heavy footsteps, as if someone was walking just behind. And they turned around, there was no one there. But they did see like a faint glow ahead of them, like a flickering light. And they swear they saw a face. It was white, gaunt, staring right back at him from the shadows. And then, as if that's not enough, there's the tale of the shadow man. So the same friend of mine who was a security guard reported seeing a tall, shadowy figure standing near the locked doors at night. And so when my friend approached him, it vanished into thin air. And people have also reported strange symbols that are etched into the tunnel walls. Sigils, actually, that seem to clearly indicate something is there. And one of the most persistent legends involves a ghostly cowboy, the figure of a man dressed in 19th century Western gear, seen wandering near baggage claim late at night. Oh, got to do a little puzzle. There we go. Got to do a little puzzle there on TikTok. So, hold on, we'll get to it. I promise you. Yeah, I'm curious if you've been to the Denver International Airport. Did you get any experience? Did you feel any experience as far as haunting when you were inside? So I'm just kind of curious about your thoughts on this first before we move on, because it gets even more interesting. No, you don't know? Never been? Okay. Well, that's fine. That's fine. I'm just kind of curious. All right. Yeah. Well, okay. Well, let's do this. Let's do that, because a lot of people are asking. So a lot of people are asking about, is it built on Native American land? So technically, yes. So the airport was built, where the land where it now sits on was part of a broader region that was traditionally inhabited by actually various Native American tribes. The Ute, the Cheyenne, there's another tribe. And the tribes lived in what is now Colorado long before European settlers arrived. And so in the 19th century, as European Americans, the settlers moved west, land that was once indigenous territory was gradually taken over through like treaties or displacements, settlement. The area around Denver was established as a city. And in the mid 1800s, live visibility restricted for 10 minutes. Your live is not eligible for recommendation, restricted in search results for the next 10 minutes because your live does not comply with the for your feed eligibility standards under our community guidelines, reason misinformation that may cause moderate harm. Okay. So apparently talking about the international airport is what? Nonsense. Nonsense. I know. Got a little notice from TikTok. Whatever. Anyway, so in the 19th century, I know it's just ridiculous. It's AI. It's just no one reported it. It's just AI. It just tags any type of word, and it tags it. So the land. So I guess you can't talk about history now. Thanks a lot, Jax. You got us in trouble, Jax Paranormal. So anyway, in the 19th century, as European Americans, settlers moved west, that's what happened. And the land where Denver International Airport was eventually built was part of the actual broader development of Denver, much of which involved like land that was either acquired through purchases or even in the treaties. So in essence, the general region, including where the Denver International Airport is, it's historically native and inhabited by and stewarded by the tribes long before the American settlement. So yes, the answer is, in fact, it was a Native American land. Right. Yeah, just nonsense. Like, okay, well, so in other words, we won't bid on their FYP. Okay, and anyway, so this cowboy that people are seeing, it's a ghostly cowboy, the figure of a man dressed in 19th century Western gear. People say that they see this person wandering near a baggage claim late at night. One TSA agent that I knew, she said that one night I was walking through the terminal. She said she saw him. He was standing perfectly still, staring at the baggage carousel. And when she approached, He turned slowly, looked right at her. She described having piercing eyes that seemed to glow faintly in like the dim light. She froze, she blinked, and then he was gone. Another story involves a maintenance worker, and he said, I was in the underground tunnels late at night doing some repairs. Suddenly, I saw him, this cowboy, walking through the tunnel like he was part of a ghostly apparition or possession. He could hear the boots, and he looked, tried to look a bit further with his flashlight, and he was gone. In 2014, this is interesting. In 2014, some brave explorers discovered some strange symbols and even messages that's carved into the concrete floors of the Denver International Airport, the underground chambers. One symbol looked like a rune. This is a circle with strange markings inside. Another's was a series of numbers. Some say like a GPS coordinates pointing to like secret sites. So a security technician who describes hearing strange noises late at night said that I found a room with strange markings on the walls, runes, symbols that he's never seen before. And then when he said he touched them, he felt a cold shock run through him, kind of like the 9-volt battery if you ever put it on your tongue. And the control room, allegedly, many people believe that it's a command center for clandestine operations. Some say that they've heard low hums or strange mechanical noises emanating from the ground below. Now, we are going to talk about the Illuminati. Da-da-da-dum. New World Order theories. Because we have to, because that is, many people swear that's what this is. So let's step into this Illuminati, if you will. Denver International Airport is often linked to the Illuminati, secret society that's rumored to control world events. Many people believe that the airport's layout and symbols are deliberate, designed to channel occult energy, serve as even a ritualistic site. So if you view the Denver International Airport, it's really interesting. If you view DIA, again, I'll say DIA from now on. If you view DIA from above, the runways form a strange pattern. Some say a pentagram. Thank you very much, Starla. Thank you. Some say it forms a pyramid. Others say something else, which I can't say. It's not accidental. The runway's angle and placement, they're too precise, too deliberate, aligning with what many people say are occult symbols. And then the murals. So there are murals and sculptures depict themes of war, chaos, destruction, and as if preparing viewers for like a future apocalyptic event. Some believe this is predictive programming, like subtle hints to the global elite plans. So the question is, could DIA be a site for clandestine globalist gatherings? Some theorists say yes. They point to the symbolism, the layout, the concealed underground chambers as evidence. Could it be a portal? Some absolutely believe that the airport's design aligns with ley lines, is what they're called, or geomagnetic energy points, places on Earth believed to connect to otherworldly portals or powers. Coincidence? Design? I don't know. You have to decide that. But let's talk about the cryptid messages embedded a little bit more in DIA. That's the architecture. So as I mentioned, in 2014, explorers and insiders discovered strange symbols that were etched into the concrete floors, numbers, runes, coded messages. Some believe these are truly GPS coordinates. Are the messages meant for insiders, or are they part of a larger ritual marking the site as a gateway? And this control. I haven't said much about this control room beneath the airport. There are people that swear that it is rumored to be a command center for clandestine or military operations. No outsider has ever been allowed inside. So fueling, obviously, inside the control room. Some have claimed that they have seen strange lights, heard noises coming from the depths, unexplained machinery that shouldn't be there, voices. So could it be the echoes of a building hidden purpose? We don't know. The ghost stories. Let's talk a little bit more about people who say that the DIA, the Denver International Airport, has so many ghost stories that you could easily write a book. Well, employees and travelers have reported seeing ghostly figures, shadowy men and women, old-fashioned clothing, children who vanish when approached, mysterious apparitions that's seen near a baggage claim. And this Western cowboy, a lot of people swear they see this 19th century gear, Western cowboy that just watches travelers and then just goes into thin air. And one friend who was a gate agent, so they worked at the gate. You give them your tickets and you go down the ramp and you get in the plane. So she was doing the gate. It was late at night. It was a really late. They were running really late behind, and she did all the tickets. All the passengers were inside. She told me she turned around to look at the plane, and she swears that she saw this cowboy standing right next to the gate agent. The gate agent, not the, but the ramp agent. The ramp agent didn't notice. She swears that she saw that thing. I don't know. But a lot of people say that doors opening and shutting on their own, a lot of cold spots that are unexplained, strange noises, footsteps, whispers, and the phantom tunnel. The phantom tunnel is interesting. On stormy nights, and it always happens on stormy nights, go figure, witnesses claim to see a spectral rider, a ghost cowboy rider galloping through the underground tunnels. Some even say in a ghostly carriage, as if from the Old West, an echo of Denver's haunted past. And a lot of people swear that they see these ghosts. One staff member, he was Mark, many years ago told me I was working near the baggage claim late at night when I saw a figure dressed in old Western clothes like a cowboy. And he was just standing there staring at the luggage. And when they got close, he disappeared. They checked with security, but saw nothing. As a matter of fact, security just laughs. So if you go tell them and say, look, I just saw a cowboy, they're like, oh yeah, you saw the cowboy. It's kind of like, oh yeah, everybody sees him. Another individual said that I was walking through the terminal when I felt a sudden drop in temperature. I looked up and they saw what's called a translucent figure. A man in a pilot's uniform staring at me from the glass window. She said, when I blinked, he was gone. And the phantom horse. People say on stormy nights, some employees claim they see this spectral horse galloping along the underground tunnels. Yeah, I don't think so. I think these people have, because what's interesting is they go and they tell the security, but the security yeah, that's a cowboy. But these secret societies, that there are people that have made, there are people who have spent their entire life talking about these hidden tunnels and how it's all about for the Illuminati, Freemasons, even alien alliances. That's pretty heavy. Because if you look at the airport's runways, you can say, I could see that it forms symbol is associated with occults, pyramids, hexagrams, even the all-seeing eye. People say they see this. Murals of apocalyptic scenes. We've talked about this. Strange symbols, cryptic messages. They believe it's all to be ritualistic. And these clandestine meetings take place. Now, there have been cases where, again, a friend of mine that works at Denver, there have been an all-white plane. All white. There's nothing on it. It's just white with a tail number on it. But it's a military. And what they do is they go in and they're not allowed to approach the plane. And they go into this separate, runway, basically. And they get off the plane, they deplane, that no one else uses this area at all. And they're absolutely convinced that there's a military base there. Perhaps. Now, There are some people that even go even to the more extreme. And folks, again, I'm telling you, people are asking me on Messenger. I'm not necessarily saying I believe in all the things I'm saying. I'm reporting what people have claimed to have experienced. And you have to make your own decision as to whether or not you think there's something there or not. There are people who believe that we are living in a controlled simulation. Some theorists suggest that the DIA is a stargate, a portal, an entrance to other dimensions. You know, the symbols, the layout, underground tunnels all point to a deeper hidden reality. Well, if we are living in a controlled simulation, then this is what I'm going to say. Whatever player is playing me, can you please make sure that I win the lottery the next time? I mean, you could have done that when it was, over $1 billion? So Mr. or Mrs. Player who is ever playing me as a character, I think it's time to, put some cheat codes in there. Now, I mean, really. Right. So as we wrap this up, I want you to consider a couple of things. What if, oh, good grief, here we go again. Your live is not eligible for recommendation, restricted in search results because your live does not comply with for your feed eligibility. So basically what's happening, and I was kind of nervous about doing this show. Anytime you start talking about conspiracy, you get flagged, no matter what. You get flagged. And they punish you. And for misinformation, it's a paranormal show. So I'm going to say, no, it does not, and submit. It's just because when you start talking about conspiracy things of this nature, then sometimes your account can get even banned. They're getting extreme. So I was concerned about this show, and now I know. Now you know why, because there's just no way to work around certain words. It's just not. So, yeah, right. It's just Big Brother. Okay. So I want to just ask you this: what if all these stories? What if they're true? What if the DIA isn't just an airport, but a nexus of power? An ancient site reconfigured for modern chaos. And what if the ghostly figures, the underground tunnels, the hidden symbols are all part of a grand design waiting for the right moment to reveal itself? Yeah, I might have to restart it. So the shadows are definitely calling. Perhaps, just perhaps, the truth is waiting in the darkness, hidden beneath layers of concrete, secrets buried deep in the earth, whispers echoing through the tunnels, or maybe it's all just conspiracy theories. And perhaps, just perhaps, the truth is waiting in the darkness, hidden beneath the layers of concrete, secrets beneath deep in the earth. Oh, got another one. I'm telling you guys, this is bad. This is how bad it's gotten. Another warning. Yeah, I'm going to have to restart it. So there we go, my friends. This is the Denver International Airport and the Houston Intercontinental Airport. So if you're ever doing a show on TikTok, you can't talk about conspiracy theories, because if you do, you get flagged and punished. But maybe they're not conspiracy theories. Maybe they're true. Not everything is a conspiracy theory. But perhaps maybe the conspiracy theory, maybe some of them hold some truth. We just don't know. All right, let me restart this on TikTok. Join us. We're going to go. I'm going to restart it. And there we go. So let's restart it, everybody. Isn't it nonsense? That is nonsense. But that's what's happening in this world now. And that's why I would prefer to have my own server, my own. People keep saying Discord. I don't know how to do Discord. But it's kind of ridiculous now that you get punished for every word you use. You got to be very careful. Even nuclear. I couldn't even say nuclear weapons. You say nuclear weapons, you can get banned on TikTok. It just depends on if AI catches, they'll send you a warning. Then you have to restart it. But it's like, how can you, if you're talking about world news and you're talking about things of this nature, you're talking about ghosts and tunnels and perhaps conspiracy theories. And if you do, if you mention that on TikTok, that's it. They'll punish you. So, matter of fact, you can't even you can't say the word gun. Cannot say the word gun. Or this person shot that person. You can't say that. If you're driving, they'll absolutely ban you. There's so many words. It's almost nearly impossible to try to keep up with what's legit, or what can you say and what can't you say. Yeah, it is. It's ridiculous. But we'll start them again. Let me get this monitor. That's what happens. You just gotta, you have to roll with the punches, as they say. So, okay, TikTok, we're back again. And let's see how much trouble we can get into now. Hopefully we can get into a lot of trouble. I don't know. All right, so let me fix this. What do you do, folks? What do you do? All right. Bear with me while I fix this, everybody. Okay. Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back. Welcome back. Yeah. Now we're going to talk about some paranormal. Can we do that, TikTok? Can we talk about paranormal topics? All right. I know but that's the problem. There really is no other app that's like TikTok. There just isn't. And I wish there was, but unfortunately there's not. And there's not a whole lot you can do. So you just got to move on. So, okay. Let me open up this thing. Well, thank you very much, Starla. Thank you very much. Thank you. All right. Bear with me. Thank you. I open things up here and redo this nonsense. All right. Yeah, me too. Me too. I'm kind of getting burnt out, but it has been a wonderful gift in many ways. I mean, we have helped with TikTok. We've helped the MKS Kids Foundation, and so I tell you what, that's pretty phenomenal. So let me turn it off and let everybody chat. We'll see how long that'll last. Now, by the way, everybody, I want to share something with you because I heard this on the news, and this. Let me just double check this before I say it. 1 second. I want to just double check this. Okay. All right. So because there was talk about the TikTok deal, but there was also talk that China. Okay. So it has finally signed the deal. Okay. So here we go. The issue was the tariffs. And the Chinese government was stating that they were not going to sign the TikTok deal because of the tariff situation. So this is AOL is reporting this. TikTok has now officially signed a deal to sell its U.S. entity in a joint venture, majority controlled by American investors Oracle and Silver Lake. So that's good because there was some concern that they weren't going to, and it looks like that has been remedied, which is a good thing. That's a good thing. Okay. Now let's talk a little bit. This is very interesting. I want to share this article with you. So for those of you who are just joining us, hello and welcome. Welcome back, TikTokers. Appreciate y'all being here. Yeah, we're a little spicy here. We're a little spicy. Yeah, well, that's right. Yeah. I've met a lot of great folks on TikTok. I mean, people that were just tremendous. So I have a soft spot in my heart for TikTok because it has helped us grow this community. Not only that, but I've met some amazing people. True, I'm just amazing. Yep, Tracy Ann and Judy Ann and Bill, all the moderators, and we got to meet the MKS Kids Foundation and Donna. And I'm telling you what, this was because y'all know that I'm a strong supporter of our men and women in blue, and I'll never forget. I have this. I'll always have it until always. This was given to me by a dear friend of mine who retired from the police department, and that was her 25 years of service. And she sent that to me, and because I'm as a chaplain for the police department, a very proud chaplain. This is something that I will always cherish, And then, of course, it was, and of course, this watch, and I thanked her, of course, and that was beautiful. This is a thin blue line. You can't really see it because of the lights, but there's like a little blue line, and a card that I got from my wallet stating that I'm a chaplain for the police department, which I am. So that was very nice. So for those of you just tuning in, I'm Bishop Long. I appreciate you all being here. Hello and happy Friday to you. Happy Friday. I want to remind you, well, thank you very much, Starla. Starla, I appreciate all these gifts. You've been very, very kind. Thank you everyone for the gifts. Thank you. If you want to go to our sponsor site, Mr. Producer, do you want to play the video again? I don't know if Mr. Producer is.
Fans of Bishop James Long, the renowned exorcist and paranormal expert on KGRA Digital Broadcasting. Now you can carry his wisdom with you. Our Bishop James Long collection features blessed apparel such as St. Benedict hats and tees, as well as home items to protect and inspire. Elevate your spiritual journey. Go to kgradb.com/shop and discover the Bishop James Long merch today.
Yeah, so folks, make sure you go to that site, KGRAD as in dog, B as in bicycle. If one of the moderators could put that in there, please. That way you don't get dinged for that too. But click on the shop link and then my name. And those are great products. Please make sure you go pick those up. 100% of the profits that would go to me, we're donating to the MKS Kids Foundation. And you can go to my website, by the way. If you want to go there, you certainly can. And pick up the 2 books, 3 books, several books, actually. I got the 7 Archangels books is completed. The Paranormal Training Manual, that's over 250 pages. That's done for you. And, we just got some really cool books there. So why not? And, of course, the parables. Thank you very much. Thank you. So the parables it's a brand new book that I just published, the 7 parables. And it breaks down the parables and how you can understand them in Scripture. So, okay. Thank you very much. Thank you, Monica. I'm picking and choosing who can say what they. Yeah, I know, Sam. Well, Sam, we had a subscriber chat on for a while because as soon as we came on, I was getting death threats immediately. As soon as within 3 minutes, and so I said that's enough. I've had enough. So I had to put sub chat on because it was just getting too aggressive. Okay, this is by T.K. Randall. Listen to this, everybody. If you don't know this one, Warminster Thing, a UFO mystery, still intrigues more than 60 years later. See, back in 1965, the English town of Warminster became the center of a series of peculiar and unexplained occurrences. Thank you. It can often it seems as though the most unassuming of place ends up becoming hotspots for paranormal activity, UFO sightings, and other mysterious phenomena. Certainly in the case of Warminster. It's a small town on the western edge of England's Salisbury Plain. So just over 60 years ago, the otherwise unremarkable town became the center of unexplained sightings and occurrences that range from UFO sightings to strange, loud noises. One of the first such incidents happened on Christmas Day, 1964. Multiple residents reported a deep droning noise that rattled rooftops and seemed to defy explanation. Oh, you've been there? Before long, several people had come forward with reports of other strange noises, as well as sightings of flying saucers, cigar-shaped objects in the sky. I'm curious if you've been there, Deborah. Have you been there, or are we talking about another topic? Because if any of you have ever been there, I'd like to know what the locals say. But in another, a man who had been walking his dog encountered something akin to a wall of sudden heat and pressure, almost like the shockwave of some strange high-energy experiment. Oh, so Deborah was there. So, Deborah, did you speak to the locals about this particular? Yeah, it is supposed to be beautiful. I've heard that. But do the locals talk of this paranormal activity? Well, thank you. There was also reports of a monstrous orange flame in the sky, which crackled and hissed, as well as tale of birds falling dead onto the ground for no known reason, and generally dubbed the Warminster Thing. The phenomenon carried on for many years, with residents continuing to report strange incidents and sightings in and around town. And since it had been suggested that a nearby military presence had been to blame, but it's difficult to imagine how this alone could account for such a wide and varied of reports. So apparently this place is still being talked about in the paranormal community. I don't know. Point Pleasant, West Virginia. Yeah. Mothman. This is fascinating. TK Randall writes this as well. Another big director is making a movie about UFOs and cover-ups. So if you haven't heard, it seems that Steven Spielberg is not the only director focusing on his efforts on a film about alien disclosure. Well, hot on the heels of recent news about Spielberg's upcoming UFO movie Disclosure Day, reports have suggested that Joseph Kosinski, the man behind recent hits such as Top Gun Maverick, is also working on a new movie on a similar theme. Well, now the new untitled film, which is being developed alongside a reboot of Miami Vice, remains steeped in mystery right now. But what we do know is that it will have something to do with government whistleblowers and the UFO phenomena. And it may have been inspired by real-life whistleblowers such as David Grush, the former national intelligence agents who had held top-level clearance at the Unidentified Aerial Phenomenal Task Force, entered the public eye back in 2023 when he made the startling claim that the U.S. government had long been in possession of partially intact vehicles of non-human origin. JR, you can go to my site. You can just go to Bishop James Long, and you follow that with the .com, and then scroll right on down, and then you will see the ministry P.O. box. Thank you. But that is really interesting. He later appeared at the subcommittee hearing at UFOs at the U.S. House of Representatives, where, citing extensive interviews with high-level intelligence officials, he maintained that non-human entities, aircraft, had been found at some of the crash sites and claimed that people had been harmed or injured as a result of government efforts to conceal this information. You have to understand, this is a director. This is not somebody who's, gone on YouTube University. I mean, he was a director. He was a former director of the National Geospatial Intelligence Agency. And he had top-level clearance at the Unidentified Aerial Phenomena Task Force. So this is an individual who clearly have seen something that you and I would never be able to have the opportunity to see. And all things considered, this would certainly make a good basis for a movie. Anyway, he says, quote, "We're working with two people who are at the very center of the topic," Kosinski said when quizzed about the film. So the conversations with them are just fascinating. I don't know. See, here's the deal with this. When you have directors, former directors of high-ranking military directors who are saying that they have seen something that they cannot explain, that there's nothing. Thank you there, Ardua. There's nothing they don't benefit from lying, because you have to understand, people say, well, they could make a book or they could sell. Okay, yes, that's a fair argument, but also that could completely and totally destroy their career. So they take a huge risk at testifying not only to Congress, but remember, they're under oath. And we have to remember this. So if in fact it comes that, that these people are lying, well, they could be in prison for that. That's a federal offense. So we have to, I think when these people, when these people are talking about what they're seeing, I take it quite seriously. Because to take a risk, like this, just to make up a lie, just to get attention, I just don't buy it. I don't buy it. I think there's too many people who are saying that they're seeing something. And I think they are. This is concerning to me. I don't like this. And I think most of you will probably agree with this next story. Leave this stuff alone. Randall writes, scientists are thawing out a 40,000-year-old organisms trapped in Arctic ice. Well, that's a great idea. So these ancient life forms allegedly can help teach us about the past, but is thawing them out really a good idea? So the Arctic permafrost acts as a cold storage, preserving evidence of our planet's history in a deep freeze that, in some cases, can even keep organisms alive for over tens of thousands of years. And while thawing them out can help scientists learn more about Earth's distant past, it can also raise concerns in recent years of long dormant viruses being unleashed on an unsuspecting world. Recently, researchers at the University of Colorado thawed out 40,000-year-old organisms extracted from the walls of the permafrost tunnel research facility in Alaska. Noted that these were not only still alive, but they had, quote, woken up and formed new colonies just within months. Oh, that's great. They say, quote, these are not dead samples by any means, said study lead author Tristan Caro. They're still very much capable of hosting robust life that can break down organic matter and release it as carbon dioxide. So organisms being revived in this way is one thing, but the purpose of the research is to study the effects of the permafrost thawing out on its own due to the rising global temperatures. So as time goes on, there won't be any choice but to sit and let these organisms thaw out, a process that could pose problems of its own, including the release of more carbon, allegedly, in the atmosphere. So while a scenario similar to that seen in the X-Files episode called Ice, if you've not seen that, I saw that last week when I was preparing for this show. Take a look at it. It's X-Files, and it's called Ice. It's a worm-like creature, infects humans after being thawed from permafrost. It's highly unlikely, but the risk of some sort of harmful prehistoric pathogen emerging from the ice is definitely not zero. I don't know, guys. I'm just not a fan of this. This is, I don't know. Right. Now, recently, there was a woman that had recorded something in a mysterious creature in Kalamalka Lake in Canada. So a recent lake monster alleged sighting saw a stunned witness record footage of something moving across the water. The mysterious encounter was reported recently by Allison Tinkt, who had been walking along a trail when she spotted something in the Kalamalka Lake in British Columbia. She said, quote, I don't know what happened. It sort of just came into my realization that there was something out there, she said. And so I opened my camera and I started filming it. It is interesting. It went for 42 seconds and then it disappeared. And sure enough, the footage shows some sort of black shape moving across the lake, although it's very difficult to determine exactly what it could be. Some people who argue say it was just the waves. I don't know. You might want to check it out. You can look at this. It's the Kala Malka Lake sighting. Kala Malka, Malka. It's an interesting video. And there are something. Yeah, oh yeah, the hills, yeah. The thaw of Val Kilmer. Oh, that. I'll have to write that down. The Thaw. So Shannon is asking us to look up a movie called The Thaw. Val Kilmer's a great actor. Well, was a great actor. I don't know. We got to be careful with this stuff. Okay. Yeah, it is kind of odd. There's a recently, for those of you who enjoy the UFOs and alien discussions and things of this nature, T.K. Randall wrote that there was a U.S. Air Force flights are landing at Area 51, fueling speculation and intrigue. Well, they've been doing this for a while, but some important people have recently been stopping off at the enigmatic facility for reasons unknown. The flights, which occur on a regular basis, use planes from the U.S. Air Force. Janet Fleet is what it's called. That Janet is an acronym for Joint Air Network for Employee Transportation. Notoriously secretive group of aircraft identifiable only by a single red strip running from nose to tail. According to tracking data, the most recent flight took off from Harry Reid International Airport in Las Vegas, December the 22nd. Arrived at Area 51 a short time later. Such flights are believed to carry high-ranking military officials, Department of Defense staff, contracted employees to facilities known to house classified top-secret information. So anyone wishing to access 51, you have to use one of those flights, or you're not going in. The base is which part of the U.S. Air Force Nevada's test and training range has long been shrouded in secrecy, is thought to have been used to develop and test various new aircraft over the years. Some also believe that the captured alien technology is secretly being reverse engineered there. There have been people who have claimed that they have gone there, they have seen it, they work there, whistleblowers, if you will. I don't know. That's awfully dangerous to do. I mean, yes, there are people, there are scientists who go there. We know that. There are engineers who go there, certainly. We know that there are flights going in. You can see it. But I also think you got to be careful when you're going to be willing to a whistleblower on that, because, now you're dealing with top military secrecy. Speaking of UFOs, I want to share the unexplained mysteries, the top UFO stories of 2025, if you missed them. So if you've missed the top UFO stories, number 10, Tim Burchett, the underwater UFO moved at hundreds of miles per hour. So something anomalous is thought to be frequently in our oceans, and we have no idea exactly what it could be. As a matter of fact, we had an expert on the UFOs and UAPs, and that UFO, that underwater UFO, moved at hundreds of miles per hour. The ninth one is Woody Harrelson recalls a freaky childhood UFO encounter. So the actor detailed his experience with unknown during a recent interview. The Late Show, Stephen Colbert. Well, thank you for sharing. The eighth one was unidentified object dubbed a witch that was filmed in the sky over France. So it was a viral footage of a strange object in the sky, left social media users scratching their heads. I think it was a bag. The number 7, mystery drones, part of fake alien invasion cover-up. claims ufologists. So a major figure in the UFO scene has put forward what he thinks is a real story behind the recent drone crisis. That was crazy. That story was just insane. Thank you very much. Number 6, a site of an alleged alien base in Alaska has become now a UFO hotspot. So Mount Hayes has become synonymous with reports of UFOs, alien visitors, and mysterious disappearances. So for those of you who are not aware of this, there you go. Also, number 5, the 5th biggest story on UFOs in 2025. Aliens are unaliving people, claims real-life close encounter scientist. A veteran UFO researcher, Jacques Vallée, maintains that there have been several cases of aliens unaliving humans. The 4th story is Unprecedented, a UFO documentary that was filmed in secret over 2 years. You might want to check that out. That was a pretty interesting documentary. It was a documentary into the UFO phenomena. Will feature interviews 34 current and former U.S. government officials. See, that when you have people who are top-notch military UFO officials, I listen. I pay close attention to those documentaries. Number 3, the 3rd biggest UFO story. Thank you. It is the Pentagon confirms that it is now investigating a case of an egg-shaped UFO. That was a big story. So the bizarre case is now understood to be one of 21 being more closely investigated by government officials. The 2nd biggest UFO story of 2025, controversy surrounds alleged finding of an alien sphere in Colombia. We talked about that here. That was very strange. Many people believe that the object is extraterrestrial in nature and that it even contains a message for humanity. And of course, the number 1, which is really number 2, there was more footage emerged of an alleged alien sphere near Buga, Colombia. Ever since the infamous Buga sphere put the Colombian region on the map, more reports of spheres were coming in. If you've not checked that out, just take a look at it. It's odd. These spheres are very strange. I've heard theories about what they are. Thank you. But I've also heard, a lot of people just dismiss it and say it's just nonsense, but I don't know. Now, it is. Yeah, it is. So since this is Paranormal Friday, let's talk about what were the top 10 paranormal stories of 2025. And there were a lot. Number 10, Adele's former home unsellable. Why? Because she said it was haunted. So sometimes even star power isn't enough to sell a house that has a paranormal reputation. The 9th biggest paranormal story of 2025, BBC's Paranormal explores the case of Britain's last witch. That was interesting. Number 8, the Enfield poltergeist case still intrigues almost 48 years on. So the case is still regarded as one of the most compelling and chilling cases of poltergeist that's ever been recorded. The number 7, a woman claims to have seen a ghostly pilot during the Ryanair flight. So Chloe Smith had been flying from the UK to France when she spotted what she believed to be a spirit. Yeah, the 3-eye atlas, absolutely. The number 6 most talked paranormal story about was the second death. Can ghosts die again? So in the episode, it says they dive deeper into the chilling concept of a second death. Now, the number 5th biggest paranormal story, online, by the way, is a museum in Ireland is plagued by sightings of ghostly reflections. The Irish Wake Museum has been home to numerous unexplained accounts of paranormal activity. The 4th is panic as real-life haunted Annabelle doll reportedly goes missing. And of course, that the Annabelle doll was to blame for the handler's passing. That was just so ridiculous. That was so ridiculous. And of course, a lot of people went online saying, oh, the Annabelle's gone missing. Annabelle's gone missing. The infamous doll has been kept for years at the museum, once run for the paranormal investigators Ed and Lorraine Warren. And now people went online saying, oh, it disappeared. It did not. That was clickbait. It never disappeared. It never ran away. It was never escaped. And so it just, and I got really fed up with the handler. Everybody talking about passing away. Thank you. Yeah. That was upsetting. Dan Rivera. So Dan Rivera, for those of you who don't know, was in July of 2025. They were taking Annabelle on the tour, and he passed away in his hotel room. And immediately people ran to social media as if they're experts in Annabelle. I was friends with Lorraine, and I can tell you, Annabelle had nothing to do with Dan Rivera's passing. He had heart issues, and people who knew him knew that he had heart issues. So that was really ridiculous. Number 3, the third biggest paranormal story alleged, according to this site, is could a combination of luck prove that it's possible to talk to the dead? So there was a late researcher, Dr. Ian Stevenson, once came up with a novel way of proving that we could speak to the dead. The second one has the mystery of South Carolina's Summerfield ghost been solved. And thank you very much. Thank you, Monica. And then Hat Man. There was a big Hat Man story. What is the truth behind the terrifying shadowy entity? Lots of articles that were written on Hat Man. Still is. We don't know what I've never seen the Hat Man, but maybe some of you have. I have not. According to also TK Randall, this is really interesting. Let's talk about the bizarre stories, the top bizarre stories that happened in 2025. Really, some of them are really strange. Yeah. Mermaid. So the number 10 bizarre story, 2025, a mermaid was attacked by a giant fish. Thank you. In a bizarre viral video. Yeah. A woman dressed up as a mermaid was performing at an aquarium when a large fish almost swallowed her head. That's true. So she was, gallivanting and swimming and pretending to be a mermaid. And this great big fish said, oh, supper time. And it was in this huge aquarium and people saw it. And just, you can YouTube it. It was crazy. The ninth story, a Minnesota man unalives his neighbor because he thought he was an alien from outer space. That's a true story. That was his defense. This case saw a 38-year-old man unalive his neighbor because he believed her to be an extraterrestrial. The eighth most bizarre story, nonsensically narrow, world's thinnest car is unveiled in Italy. It's actually pretty interesting. It's a very, very, very thin Fiat Panda. Actually functions as a working car despite being a mere 50 centimeters in width. Thank you very much, Monica. Beautiful. Thank you. Some beautiful gifts there at TikTok. The seventh most bizarre story, 5 incredibly weird things photographed by police. So criminals aren't the only things that police officers capture on camera. They come in some really strange things. The number 6, police investigate visit by mysterious box demon in Pennsylvania. A strange individual identifying herself as a box demon showed up at a house in northern New York County recently. True story. The 5th one is a real-life James Bond jailed for 60 days for telling police his name. So possessing the name James Bond can have unforeseen consequences, as one unfortunate man found out. The 4th one is rare new footage emerges of the world's tallest man ever. That's pretty interesting. The previously unreleased footage shows Robert Wadlow, officially the tallest man ever recorded. The 3rd is the giant creepy alien face discovered in Antarctica on Google Earth. I saw it. That was interesting. I got to tell you something. That was very, very interesting. Now, people will argue that's pareidolia. Got it. Understand that. But if you haven't seen it, thank you, Jelly. If you've not seen it, take a look at that. It is interesting. Matter of fact, I did that presentation here once. It's and it looks like an alien face in Antarctica on Google Earth. Someone was on Google Earth over Antarctica, and they zoomed in, and it looked kind of strange. Also, the second most bizarre story, an alien shows up on a doorbell camera in Compton, California. Something was lurking outside in the darkness after midnight. Nobody is quite sure who or what it was. And the number one most bizarre story, besides the three-eye atlas, a man was in critical condition after eating a whole burger without chewing. Why? So for those of you who don't know the story, Tiki Arana wrote this. He swallowed the entire burger in its entirety for a joke. According to reports, the bizarre incident happened when a 22-year-old man who hails from Greece decided to try downing an entire burger without chewing at all, just for a laugh. Goes without saying that the stunt didn't go the way he had hoped. The moment we realized something was wrong was when he was hitting his back against the column, probably trying to spit it out or something, one of his friends recalled. You think? At one point, it was believed that he had stopped breathing for full 2 minutes. Inevitably, he had to be rushed to the hospital or he was placed on a ventilator. He can only be saved by a miracle. He is in very critical condition, said the president of this hospital worker. Even if he has received first aid, a doctor's intervention is needed because when the brain is left without oxygen, irreparable damage is caused. Police officers are now going through the CCTV footage to find out exactly what happened. What happened? They swallowed a hamburger. Suffice it to say, trying to swallow an entire burger without chewing is an incredibly stupid thing to do. In other words, please don't try this at home. I'm just reporting. I'm just reporting the news. That's all I'm doing. I'm not. If you know what? We can't say. I was going to do conspiracy theories, but we'll get punished. I don't care. I don't know, whatever. Okay, what are the top conspiracy theories? Well, let's talk about them. Punish me all you want to, TikTok. I don't care. So the number 10. Bizarre conspiracy theory suggests that the Titanic didn't actually sink. That was a big story this in 2025. So conspiracy theorists have perpetuated a rumor in recent years that rewrites the events of the Titanic disaster. You can actually go online and see several videos where people are absolutely convinced. The number 9 top conspiracy theory of 2025, secretive U.S. Rat 55 plane spotted landing in Area 51 in Nevada. We kind of talked about that. The 8th is the earthquake reported near secretive Area 51 base in Nevada. The 7th, most conspiracy theorist or theory, a newly published archive details CIA's MK Ultra mind control program. That's pretty scary because the CIA actually did conduct secretive experiments into mind control. The number 6th top conspiracy theory of 2025, Jerry Freeman, the man who snuck into Area 51 and lived to tell the tale. It was in 1996. Freeman adventured with the perimeter of the top secret base. The 5th most craziest or wildest conspiracy theory, 3 disturbing visits from the real men in black. So for years, UFO experiencers and researchers have been plagued by visits from shadowy figures dressed in black. The 4th top conspiracy theory, U.S. Air Force Janet fleet planes make unexpected trip to Area 51 again. The 3rd, and this was interesting. I did a presentation. We talked about this. Chemtrail crackdown. 8 U.S. states move to ban illicit sky spraying. Now, look, I don't think that's a conspiracy theory. I really do not believe that's a conspiracy theory. And here's why I mentioned this. What was fascinating to me is that 8 U.S. states, the state governments voted to ban chemtrails. If this is just a conspiracy theory, then the governments in each state the state government would have said, well, let's go ahead and let's ban it. If it's just a conspiracy theory, they would have ignored it. They would have thought, oh yeah, it's one of those people. They're a conspiracy theory creep. So you don't ban it if it's a conspiracy theory. You ignore it. You don't give it any attention. So if 8 United States government, U.S. states, decide to ban it, well, that tells me they obviously know something that maybe we don't. Look, I am convinced that there are these trails in the sky that should not be there. And again, I work for the airline. I understand that, when you have a plane that's 30,000 feet above the ground, it's high up. And obviously the moisture from the exhaust from the engines, it's going to leave their icicles. But inevitably, the icicles, they fall. There's weight to it. And when they fall, it becomes moisture. What you don't have these great, big, huge, long trails, and it stays there for hours upon hours upon hours. That's not normal, especially when there is no known origin of that particular trail. So I think we already know, by the way, for weather manipulation, that's not a conspiracy. Just look up Operation Popeye. We did this in the Vietnam War. So the government, they released classified documents. Check it out. It's called Operation Popeye. I know Florida was one of them. Number 2, the second most conspiracy theory of 2025 were classes for gifted kids in the 80s and 90s, a part of the secret CIA program. And the number 1, ominous black tower structure spotted at Area 51 at Google Earth. So there was this black structure that's put up there, which is very strange. And for those of you who are listening to this presentation on podcast, we say good night to you guys. Yeah, so we're going to wrap things up here. Remember, friends, later on tonight at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we will have our night prayer. And so we do ask that you please join us this evening. Hopefully that you will. That would be wonderful. If not, completely understand. But that's at 10 p.m. Eastern. 10 p.m. Eastern. For everybody else, thank you for being here. Remember, I tell you, your value does not decrease based on someone's inability or refusal to see your worth. You're priceless, and don't let anyone tell you or convince you otherwise. Good night.